Thank you for watching the 8490 podcast, where we speak from experience only. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah. Blackwell 620, right? By any means, you already know how to go, right? I ain't even lit your up yet, but I'ma go right under this mother. Let's go, Blackwell, by any means, yeah. Smoke the finest, focus, now I'm grinding. I hit a lick.
Thank you for joining the 8490 podcast, where we speak from experience only. I'm your host, Dwayne Smith. I have a very special guest with us today, three-time Muay Thai champ, Xavier Knight. My man, thank you for joining us today. All right, so I wanted to get into a lot of your journey thus far, your Muay Thai experience and what you're trying to become in that profession. But I want to start for our viewers. What exactly is Muay Thai in its origin?
So for people that don't know what Muay Thai is martial art. It's the art of 8 limbs. So if you're watching mixed martial arts, or if you're watching what the most people consider like UFC fighting, it's the stand up aspect of it, right? You're able to use your hands, your elbows, your knees, your feet. A more simplistic way to think about it is like kickboxing with elbows and knees. The biggest aspect of it as well is the clinch. Being able to use the clinch work in Muay Thai is definitely what sets it apart from other martial arts.
Okay, so there's no ground activity happening.
No ground activity inside the clinch. When you're catching people's kicks or working inside the clinch, you can sweep them. It scores a lot of points. It is big when you sweep people, but once they go to the ground, it's standing them right back up from there.
Okay, so the art of 8 limbs is the limbs you can use or the point range.
The art of 8 limbs are the limbs that you're able to use.
Okay.
So yeah, being able to use your hands, your elbows.
Okay, because I was counting. I thought I only count 6. That's why. All right, cool. And does it follow like a color ranking system like the other martial arts?
No, some it's different for different people. Some lineages have belt systems or rankings, and I don't want to discredit them. But for the most part, it's levels, right? So level 1, level 2, level 3, and they'll have different color systems for them sometimes with their shorts, or different, like Bang Muay Thai does belt systems and things like that. But
so it's color systems within the rankings.
Yeah, okay. So within the rankings, some of them are tied to color systems. But for the most part, it's just the rankings themselves.
Okay. And what made you want to get involved with or become a Muay Thai fighter?
So honestly, I fell into Muay Thai. Randomly, my brother found this gym. Okay. He started going there. To work out throughout the week, and he invited me. For a long time, I had a passion for the sport. I've watched a lot of the UFC, George St. Pierre, Brock Lesnar, some other big fighters for a while, and I just knew that I had a passion for it. I would get really amped up when I would watch like the UFC fights, and I don't know, it put me in a different mindset. So when I got into the gym, I had already made the decision that I wanted to fight. I wanted to compete. And I was open with my coaches about that from day one, and just ran with it from there. But the goal originally was MMA, but I fell in love with the stand-up aspect of it, being able to, do Muay Thai and actually fight people versus being held sometimes. In MMA, a lot of the wrestlers, they try to hold you down and things like that. So being able to actually fight, I fell in love with it. And, that's how I stuck with Muay Thai.
Do you think body styles may lend itself to certain, sports,
Yeah, for sure. It's even funny though, because I'm told because of my length, like I have a good frame for my weight class. I fight at 142, so with me being this tall,
the height doesn't matter with that, huh? It's just
not
the weight.
necessarily. So the height and the weight help me, right? Like I fight at a weight class to where I am taller than a lot of my opponents. So when I'm able to kick them, they're not able to punch me. Or if I'm able to, punch them, typically I'm able to keep a longer range or a longer distance from them. With wrestling though, or with MMA, it kind of negates that because once you're on the ground,
everybody's the same height.
Everybody's the same height at that point. So it just, you want to play to your advantages, and my advantage so far has been Muay Thai.
Right.
But I do get a lot of suggestions on doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm told I have a good frame for Jiu-Jitsu.
And what's that for the audience?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, for people that don't know, is going to be like the grappling aspect of mixed martial arts. When you see people on the ground doing submissions or, the rear naked chokes, the leg locks, the kimuras, that's all going to be Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the mixed martial arts aspect. So I get a lot of people telling me that I should use my length for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and it is something that we've contemplated, but we'll see where the journey takes us.
What would you think would be some of the, obviously it's an advantage having the height. Like you said, you can keep people at bay with their punches and kicks. What are some of the disadvantages of having the length that you have or the height?
So the disadvantages, with me having a smaller frame, you have certain people that put pressure on me. They get inside, they try to inside fight. You would think that would be their advantage. I guess that would be my biggest disadvantage.
But you can knee though.
Yeah, right. So I'm like, there's not many disadvantages that I have.
Got it.
Not to sound that way, but when people do get inside, the aspect of me being able to do, Muay Thai is I can at that point knee or throw elbows, throw clinch, and then having the height advantage that I have, I'm able to knee people in the head from standing up, things like that. So the amateur rankings are definitely saving people right now, because once I'm able to knee you guys in the head, it's a wrap.
Nice. That makes sense. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. So outside of obviously self-defense, what are some of the other benefits of Muay Thai? Say some of the intangibles, I guess.
Honestly, for me, it would be the mental aspect of it. You hear it a lot with martial arts in general. It's going to strengthen your mind. It's going to help build your confidence. Even if you're doing it you're not doing it to fight, just having the ability to protect yourself, having the ability to better yourself and constantly learn something new that is genuinely fun. And to most people, we're always having positive energy in the gym. It's not, where people are in the gym boasting their egos. It's a very humble sport. So it's very family oriented, and you get to gain a family, you get to gain, healthy mental, benefits from working out and seeing your body change throughout the time, really. So for me, it's the confidence that is built for me, for other people, and just the mental growth that I've had, being able to fight through things and continue to go and show up for myself.
I see. It would bring a lot of peace and confidence knowing you can kick somebody's ass. I mean, that makes sense. I was going to ask, do they call them senseis? Like, what would be your master?
So crew. It's a crew.
Crew?
Yeah, KRU. So crew or an adjourn would be would the coaches of the gym.
Got it. And do they guide your diet at all? How heavy is diet when it comes to Muay Thai?
Guys, you need a good diet for Muay Thai. Do not be like me. I'm I no, so definitely you wanna eat healthy. You wanna drink a lot of water, especially in Florida. We deal with heat in my gym. We don't have
so y'all just
air conditioned.
leaking.
We're in a garage, so it's garage open, 2 industrial fans, and getting that work in. So you definitely want to be healthy. I kind of get away with eating a little bit more junk food, and I'm a slender body. I have a good metabolism, but don't get me wrong, it's definitely something that if you want to go long in anything, even just in life, you want to take care of your body and eat healthy, and make sure you're drinking water, staying hydrated.
Is it walk us through the mode of preparing for a fight, and high level? What's your process from dieting to mental space to the physical? What is Xavier's process when he has a fight? And before you get into it, how long do you start preparing? Is it true like when your last fight ends, you start preparing for the next one, or is it more like 30 days out, 90 days, 60 days?
I'm a little different, and it just depends on the mood or the place in life that I'm in at that time frame, honestly. So when I first started, I took 5 fights within a year, and they were pretty much back to back. I was in a rolling camp. Now I'm a little older. I have family, work, things like that I have to pay attention to, and fighting takes a lot of energy. Fighting takes a lot of mental to do and sacrifices. So having to set that time aside, you kind of have to pick and choose when you are going to do that and be more mindful the older you get or the later it gets in your career. But for me, my camps are usually 6 to 8 weeks. And because of that, I do like to stack them on top of each other and roll my fights back to back. If I could fight, 3 times, 4 times within a 5-month period, I would love that. And then kind of take 2 months off to spend time with the family. Don't get me wrong, you're obviously still training during that time. Stay ready. You hear people all the time, there's no such thing as a fight camp, right? You want to always be in the gym, always be conditioning, always learning, trying to get 1% better each day. It's not something that you can just say, all right, well, I'm not going to do anything for this time frame and then show up into the gym after 3 months fat and lazy and think you're just going to hop right back into it. So still going into the gym, but definitely going in with a different mindset or different intentions when you have a fight for sure. So to answer that question, my camps are about 6 weeks long, and I'm in the gym 5 to 6 days a week during that time frame, at least an hour or two, just doing pad work, drilling, sparring, doing conditioning afterwards, and then, as I mentioned, at least a gallon, maybe 2 gallons of water a day, staying as hydrated as possible.
Yeah, right.
Drink my water now. And then the closer we get to the end of fight camp, or the closer we get to the fight, the second to last week is called Hell Week. That is the hardest week to out the fight camp, and it really definitely is where I typically feel the light, the flip, the like
get fight mode,
gears kind of switch, 0 dark 30 mode, and you really just lock in.
0 dark 30 mode?
Yeah, a lot.
What's that?
You kind of shut everything out, just
heard that.
Go into tunnel vision, and it's you got a mission to complete at that point, and once you get into that mindset, it's really kill or be killed kind of. So it's difficult or different having an everyday lifestyle, and I tell everybody it's a lot harder to be close to me during those last 2 weeks because I'm a lot more on edge.
Right.
But it comes with the sport, and I have to understand that there's something that I'm going into my fight to accomplish. So uh, those last 2 weeks are typically the hardest, and Hell Week definitely accomplishes that switch. And then after Hell Week is the fight cut week. So fight week, cut week, depending on your weight, was sometimes it's harder for more people. More people cut a lot more weight, than I do. I'm typically cutting about 10 pounds or so, so it's not a huge cut, but because I'm skinnier, because I don't carry a lot of weight, sometimes those last 4 or 5 pounds can get a lot more drastic, but never miss weight. So, on the dot every time, like a professional, so.
Good deal. I've actually seen you go through that before.
Yeah,
I've seen you go through that process, definitely. So walk us through your journey of how you became a 3-time Muay Thai champ, and just your journey from where you were to where you are now in the process.
So, yeah, like I said, I started training randomly because of my brother. But going into it, I knew I wanted to fight. So it was about a year and a half of training before I took my first fight. But once I took that first fight,
I didn't realize it was that long. Okay.
I hit the ground running. Honestly, I took my first fight June of 2017. Actually, Father's Day of 2017.
Okay.
And I had 5 fights by May of 2018. So
that's crazy.
Pretty much just random back to back, trying to get as much action as possible throughout that first couple of months or first year, and get as much experience as I possibly could throughout that first year. And May of 2018 is when I became a champion, a Muay Thai champion. I won my first Muay Thai belt May 12th of 2018.
Okay.
So the journey to becoming a 3-time champion from that.
What's the first? What was the easiest of the 3?
The easiest of the 3. The third one. No, so the third one I actually did not have to fight for. So technically, I won that. The guy backed out the day of the fight.
I remember that. Yeah, okay, I do recall that.
So this guy told the doctors or told the commission something.
I could have showed up and got me a belt.
Yeah. They was giving out free belts. So because I still made weight, and technically I was defending a title. That was my third championship. But out of the 2 fights, honestly, the 2 fights that I've won the championship belts from, they were very different fights for me. My 5th fight, I fought O'Shea Robertson. He was a really good opponent. He was really experienced.
What was his style?
He was more like a karate taekwondo. Don't kill me, O'Shea. Me and him are really cool now. But he was he had like a karate or taekwondo background, I believe, originally. And when we fought, he wasn't as experienced in the clinch and stuff, and so I really used that. But I remember his friends talking a lot of trash beforehand, so that kind of got me hyped. And then my second title fight, I actually hadn't fought in over a year and a half, maybe 2 years almost, when I took that fight. And I was coming off of like a 2-fight or 3-fight losing streak. So that was really a big moment for me. I took that tournament up in Georgia, and I fought this kid, Richie, who actually just won the West Coast Muay Thai Championship recently. So O'Shea and Richie both are thriving now in their own careers respectively. But I had really good fights with both of them. I would have to say my fight with O'Shea was more fun, and
that's
I
always
have to run that back in the day.
yeah, definitely. That's always crazy to see when these fights and to hear that they're like close friends outside of it, and then they killing each other in the ring. That's always crazy for people. I saw you went to Thailand recently. So what was that trip like? You was out there looking like Saget. I saw you working out. Like at the Street Fighter mode. So what was Thailand like?
Thailand was amazing. Thailand was life changing. I'm going back to Thailand this year. Honestly, in November. I can't say enough about it. It was life changing mentally. It was life changing physically. Being able to go out there and do something I love, every day without any other restriction. It was so much fun. I had got to wake up every day and go train with about 5 or 6 of my teammates.
Yeah.
And up at Sit Jo Pho, Muay Thai in Hua Hin, and for 2 straight weeks, all we did was eat and sleep and train Muay Thai. And then I took a fight short notice with one of my teammates, Mason. So that was a lot of fun.
Not everybody can say that.
Right. Like, so being able to say that I went there, got to travel to Asia and to train was one thing, but to be able to fight there and then to be able to get a tattoo, I got a Sankyat while I was out there from one of the adjurants, the monks. So that was really nice.
That's crazy. That's dope.
Had a good time.
Good deal. What would you say for someone looking to get into it? What are some of the startup costs, or like what would you suggest somebody up and coming, somebody's 19, 20, they're looking to get involved in it? What would you say would be a good route? And what are some of the startup costs when it comes to equipment and training and things like that?
Really just depends on what aspect of it you want to go into. If you want to go into Muay Thai specifically, I would say find a gym that works for you. And what I mean works for you is it feels comfortable for you. You're able to make the classes. You're able to actually learn from the instructors there. You're able to have good training partners and actually get good experience. For the most part, I haven't experienced in Muay Thai a lot of egos or anything like that, but I'm sure it does happen at certain gyms. So you just want to go somewhere where you're not going to have to deal with drama and can actually go somewhere and learn constantly and put in the time and effort, because it makes it easier when you enjoy going to the gym. It makes it easier when you enjoy going to work out with people that you actually are having fun with. So I would definitely say find somewhere that you enjoy or find somewhere that's comfortable for you. The startup costs are relatively cheap. A lot of the gyms have community gear already. So they'll have gear that you can use prior to purchasing your own. You don't have to come in with owning your own gloves or owning your own like belly pad or anything already. At least at my gym, we have, pretty much everything that you would need: Thai pads, belly pads, shin guards, gloves for you to use. Once you know for sure that this is something you want to invest into, then we can go ahead and suggest other places where you can buy gear, buy your own gloves, buy your own gear, so you can, really invest in yourself and have your own property at that point. But to start up, it's not expensive.
Okay, so very inexpensive. That's good to know. What would I know you recently got into like the promotional side of it. So what's the fight game like in the fight industry? And then like the one-on-one version. I know it's a lot that goes into it, but what would you say?
So for me, so far, it's just been networking, meeting a lot of people. That's really what I'm big on right now is networking. I haven't had any shows actually yet, but wanting to build the community, especially the Tampa community, Florida, the central area, being able to have the fighters here thrive and expand and just get better is something I'm passionate about. It's not just.
Would you say it's a big fighting community around here? Central Florida
Big
area?
And small, big and small. The fight world is, big, but it's small in the sense of we all know each other for the most part. A lot of the shows we're going to, we're seeing us the same people, the same fighters and stuff like that. And so being able to expand our what's it called expand our reach and our visibility is something that I want to do. I want to take the sport to higher standards and higher points. So right now it's just me networking and meeting people and making sure they know who I am.
Right.
So that when I do come asking for fighters or I ask them to be on my shows, it's not just, a stranger. It's somebody that is going to take care of you as a fighter or as a coach and make sure that we're getting as much publicity as we possibly can.
Do you feel like it's marketed adequately?
I feel like the people that are good at market it adequately. I feel like it's a smaller sport still. We just got approved for the Olympics, so you have people that are learning about the sport now, and it's growing now. There's people that are in America, and if you're in, like I said, in the fight world, there's really, dominant fighters in the fight world that are winning nationally. We have Tierra Brandt and Aaron Ortiz, who just won back-to-back gold medals at the World Games or at IFMA.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So you have people that are, getting that publicity, but then you also have the smaller ranked fighters, and it's not just about, those at the top. We want to, kind of elevate everybody together. So the way to do that is by, networking, but also making the fights happen. You got to be willing to fight. You got to show up. You can't just, be claiming to be the best and not be, competing against the best as well. So
how do fights happen? Because I know, is it just you call another fighter? Is it their promoter? Is it a beef? Is it because we already hear like the cliche that the good fights never take place because there's too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Is that true?
It depends. Man, fighters fight at the end of the day. When you start worrying about pros and things like that, there's other things that come into play. The money, who has a contract where, but for the most part, if you want to fight, you want to fight, and you're going to find a way to do it. I have been a little bit more humble about going about calling people out, way more humble than I feel like I should be in times. But no, you just call your shot with. So for the most part, I call my shot with promoters, right?
Okay.
So
it's a business deal though, at the end of the day.
Right. So for the most part, I show up, I put on good fights, I execute what I can handle, and then I talk to the promoters. The promoters put fighters in front of me from there, and that's how I do it for the most part.
Okay.
There's other fighters who will, DM, tag people here and there. I know a guy that's been in another fighter's DMs for months about wanting to fight him, and the guy not wanting to fight him. So it's just different people do different things, and sometimes people's tactics work, sometimes they don't. Like I said, the amateurs and the pros have different go-abouts. For the most part, with the amateurs, coaches are just submitting names, and the promoters are matching people up based on who they think are going to be good fights. But if you're good, call your shot. You know, for a long time, I was fighting in only title fights, and it was because I was telling the promoter after each time that I competed that my next fight I wanted this title, or the next fight I wanted this shot, and that's what would happen.
What would you say are some of the unforeseen pitfalls of the fight industry?
Unforeseen pitfalls, the real world, in reality, COVID happening, right? Stop the fight world for like I said, almost 2 years for a lot of people, not being able to go to the gym. Finances can stop that. It's not a lucrative business, so to say. You don't make a ton of money fighting, so not being able to afford to go to the gym or take care of your body properly, not being able to dedicate the time to really training could take time away from your experiences, and from there it can take you away from fighting. So really the unforeseen pitfalls are, really just real life.
That same thing that impacts everybody else.
Yeah. So you got it's a sport at the end of the day, but we don't have the luxury of it being our only, job.
Right.
People in the NFL, they only have to worry about going to the NFL, whereas fighters typically have day jobs as well. So it's a little different.
Okay. Walk us through your first amateur win, or your first win, from when you started. I know you said you were accepting all the fights, but that feeling you got when you got that first dub after all that work you put into it. Put us in the ring.
I was going to say, honestly, that first fight was electric. I just rewatched that fight like a week ago. I had so many teammates there just supporting me, and really knowing for a long time, like, okay, I want to fight, but putting in the hard work to actually train, and then setting yourself up to take the fight, going in there and doing the fight. It's a different mindset, and I really feel like the place that I was at in life in 2016, 2017, I was really transitioning in my own life, and it was nice to have that first win in my first fight, like being able to win my debut fight on Father's Day. Being a father myself, it's just like being able to overcome everything that I had went through at that time. It was beautiful to me, and being able to really feel like I arrived, like, okay, like I can do this at this point. And then, I took another fight September 3rd.
Needed that feeling again.
Immediately, right? Like, so it's just like, all right, we accomplished this. I did this, like, let's go. And I remember even the Instagram post that I posted, I like, it was very reflective, and then I was just like, all right, what's next? Like, this is cool.
You needed that feeling one more time. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. That's what's up. Do you remember how you took the guy down?
So that fight was a decision. So I fought this guy, Peter Liberatore. It was a split decision. It was not a split decision. We can post that fight now. It was not a split decision, but it was a split decision win. My first TKO was was actually in South Carolina. I finished that fight with a body shot. So
From what, knee?
nah, it was a hook.
I gotta ask. There's a lot of okay. Got it. All right. What advice would you give to a young Xavier Knight when this idea started? What advice would you give yourself in order to become successful in this fight industry?
A young me, I would say, don't look at the short window. And that's just personal. I feel, as I mentioned earlier, I got into it wanting to do MMA, and I then fell in love with Muay Thai. And in the short window, I looked at what I could accomplish in Muay Thai and what I did accomplish, what I am accomplishing in Muay Thai. But in the long range, I think in the back of the window, or in the back of my head, I should say, there was always the desire to do MMA. And now I've been training 8 years, but I haven't done other martial arts, so to say. So since I'm still in the sport, it would be beneficial to have 8 years of other martial arts as well.
Yeah.
But never too late. I'm still young, and we're still going to accomplish everything we set out to do.
Definitely. Does that throw you off? Different styles of different martial arts? I mean, I'm sure it augments your talent, but
it's like learning different languages. It's like different playbooks. It's anything's going to just change you or adjust.
But the nucleus is still there. What you're doing.
Really, it's finding a base and learning how to use the other aspects or the other martial arts when needed, right? So when you have a mixed martial arts fight, you'll have Muay Thai fighters, and all the fights stay standing up. You may not be the best on the ground, but once you get to the ground, are you able to stand back up so you can use what you're good at, right? Yeah. So, or if your base is wrestling, all right, the fight's starting off standing up. What can I do to survive standing up and then get the fight to the ground so I can execute my strengths? So,
man, it's a lot. Which is why I have my CCW. I can't get no bar fights with guys like you, man. But that's my final question, though. I do want to ask you for the people, where can we find you? Maybe social media platforms. Where can we look to see you in your upcoming fights and events?
Yeah. So Co Muay Thai on Instagram, Co Muay Thai Brandon is the gym that I go to. So KOH Muay Thai Brandon. And then my own social media is Kozay Tapes, KOHZAYTAPEZ, TAPES.
And we'll have the link in the description below as well.
And my next fight, I'm hopefully fighting July 29th in Tampa. So come see me. I promise to put on a stellar performance. I look forward to fighting in Florida. I haven't done that in a while. So being able to fight in Tampa, sell out, Tampa is a great promotion, combat night. So, yeah.
All right.
Really the next thing, July.
Appreciate you swinging by, my man.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining, and thank you for watching the 8490 podcast. We speak from experience only. Again, Xavier Knight. Appreciate you.
Bang. Yeah. Blackwell 620. Right? By any means, you already know how to go. Right? I ain't even lit the up yet, but I'ma go right under this mother. Let's go, Blackwell. By any means.
Smoke the finest. Focus, no, I'm grinding. I hit a lick, perfect timing. I came up, young, came up. They say I changed.